Hey everybody, it's Bobby Flay. I hope everybody's staying smart and being really safe. One thing about being in our home so much is it's certainly making America a lot better cooks, because that's what we're doing. I'm cooking 3 times a day at home, and I thought I would just reach out to you guys at the Borgata, all of our great customers, friends and family in Atlantic City, and show you how to cook a steak at home. Why not? You can't go to Bobby Flay Steak right now, can't hit the old homestead, but I'm gonna show you how I would cook a steak at home. I'm gonna use a couple of tips that I would use in the restaurant, talk about, spice rubs, and then something that I'm just gonna pull out of my refrigerator that most people will probably have. So to start, if you've been to Bobby Flay Steak, you know that one of our signatures is that we spice rub every single steak that we cook, so that it gets a really nice crust and some good flavor. So these are the kinds of things that I found in my pantry. Some paprika, some cumin, some chili powder. This is ancho powder, but it's just, it's a chili powder. Some coriander, fennel, and then this is something called Mediterranean spice. So it probably has like, fennel, probably has like oregano and thyme and parsley, like dried herbs. So I just took these ingredients and just kind of made a spice rub out of them with some salt and pepper. And what I do is I put a little salt and pepper on top of the steak first. And then I take the spice rub and I rub it in. That's why they call it a rub, because you want to rub it in. One nice even layer, just like that. And that's going to obviously create lots of flavor, and it's also going to help create a crust. And I just put it on one side. A lot of people ask me, why don't you put it on both sides? Well, look, basically, I want to taste the meat. You have a good quality piece of meat here. I just want to take the spice rub and actually enhance the meat, but at the same time, I want to taste that beef flavor. All right. So if you have a cast iron pan, that's the best possible pan to use. Something that's nice and heavy, that's really going to hold the heat. And what I do is I use a light oil to cook this in, like canola oil or vegetable oil, peanut oil, grapeseed oil, something like that. If you only have olive oil, that's fine, but I'd rather you cook with something that's lighter, so it has a higher smoky point. And you can see, I don't know if you can see this in the video, but you can start to see the smoke start to billow. So you really want to get the pan really hot. Can you see that? Mm-hmm. Okay. Then we're going to take the steak, spice rub side down, put it into the pan, okay? And then a little salt and pepper on the other side. One of the things that separates a professional chef from a home cook, I think, is the amount of seasoning that we do. Like, we go for it, right? So like that might look like a lot of salt and pepper to you, but it's a really dense piece of steak, so you really need it to kind of get through the density of that thick meat. Okay, so at this point, I'm just gonna pick this up for 1 second, just to make sure that the oil's underneath it, and we're gonna let it get nice and crusty. So this is the part where you just kind of leave the steak alone. If you keep turning it and flipping it and turning it and flipping it, you're gonna get that gray steak that you had at your friend's house last weekend. You don't want that. You want it to be nice and brown, nice and crusty. So the only way you can do that is with direct heat. Okay, so we're gonna let that cook. And as that's happening, you have a couple of choices. You can make yourself a cocktail, pour yourself a glass of wine. I'm gonna make myself a flavored butter to put on top of the steak, because why not enhance it even more, right? So I have some softened butter here. This is just unsalted butter. If it's unsalted, add a little salt. If you only have salted butter, don't add salt. And then I found some barbecue sauce in my refrigerator. Like you go into the door of the refrigerator and it's just sitting there. Okay, this is like the barbecue sauce that I buy all the time, just to have, for like last minute kind of, people come over and they want something from the grill. I got some barbecue sauce ready to go. So I'm just gonna pour some of the barbecue sauce right on top of the butter. And then you can do this either in a food processor or in a mixing bowl with a whisk. I like to use my mortar and pestles. And you're just going to make a barbecued flavored butter. And this is what's we're gonna slather it on top of the steak itself. Okay, that's good. Let's check out our steak. Okay, see, that's what you want to see. Nice and crusty all the way across. Then we can turn it over. And you can see I just flipped it one single time. But you can see how beautiful that is, right? So I cooked that for like what, 2 minutes on one side, got it nice and crusty. Now we're gonna flip it over. If you want your steak like medium rare, I'm gonna say like, you know, maybe another 90 seconds, okay? But while that's happening, and as the steak is still, you know, still hot on top, we're gonna take our barbecue butter. Now, if you don't have barbecue sauce, if you don't like barbecue sauce, you can make another kind of butter. You can maybe some fresh herbs that you have that are starting to go bad in the refrigerator. So you can make an herb butter or a Dijon mustard butter. I love anchovies. Anchovy butter on top would be amazing. You know, a honey butter, a honey mustard butter. I mean, anything like that. So then what's going to happen is the butter is going to melt. It's going to drip down into the juices themselves. And this is going to basically become the pan sauce, okay? Now you don't want to overcook the steak. I'm going to say like another 20 seconds or so. And then, you know, obviously you can serve this with, you know, some roasted potatoes. I mean, to me, it's like, you know, you want to have like cream kale or cream spinach, or you want to do something healthy, even like an arugula salad with Parmigiano, and some balsamic vinegar and olive oil. Make it really, really simple. And it really depends on what you have in your house. Okay. So now we're going to take our steak, get it out of the pan. Did this in real time, everybody. Let's put this right here. And we're just going to take our pan drippings. Remember, this is the juices from the steak and the butter. Just going to put a little bit right on top. And then let this rest for like 5 minutes, okay? And the juices will stay intact. And then you can start to cut it, and it should be really nice and juicy and very, very flavorful because you got that spice rub and that barbecue butter all on that steak. Stay safe, everybody, and I'll see you back at the Borgata and Bobby Flay Steak very soon.